infinite waves of desires, aspirations, fears collapse into this silence. Silence as the gate of the source. Nothing can take my attention from it, because I don't care about anything else. Only that. The normal chains of thoughts most of the times end in some type of conclusion. But whatever thoughts arise, and because I don't care, they end up in silence, collapse into silence. This should be your mindset. Hello, friend. I will answer your question now. So, there are so many gurus, each one pointing his own way to enlightenment. How is one to know if they are speaking the truth? It appears to be that way, doesn't it? This question has so many implications that for certain reasons we'll not go into all of them. But we'll go through a few ones which are very important for you as a seeker of truth. So what is a guru? Is he the gate of enlightenment? Is he enlightenment? Is he a tool to enlightenment? As is a service to enlightenment? What is that? Well, these questions, these random questions, they seem innocent, but they are not that innocent, and they are very clarifying for those who want to observe themselves, because it is always about self-observation and removing oneself from distorted points of view, actions, visions of the world. For the seeker of truth, the guru is at least grace. And what does that mean? What are the implications of that? Well, first of all, how is one to know if they are speaking the truth? This is the question of the seeker. Well, and who are you to judge if it is the truth or not? Let's take it out from the intellectual level, because it was never about the intellect. Grace is to be honored, to be thanked for, to be appreciated. In grace, you surrender to. You don't judge, you don't evaluate, nothing of that. You see, those instruments that are needed in worldly environments, they are useless in spiritual ones, real spiritual ones. Because if we are talking about the majority of what is seen as spiritual these days, it is just worldly. Just worldly. And in that sense of being worldly, it also doesn't matter if you use those mechanisms, if you use the intellect or not, because it will always leads to suffering. More of the same, because, well, motivations have not changed, desires have not changed. They are deeply worldly in nature. In spiritual circumstances, it doesn't matter. Either it is seekers, which appear to be seekers of truth, but they're not. This is the majority. Either it is those who appear to be gurus, but they're not. It's just seekers. Either you are a knower, or you're not, or you're a seeker. And yes, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of different pointings out there, whatever that means. But gurus, for the seeker of truth, there is his guru, no one else, just his guru. He may have many teachers that will prepare him, even if it is the same one, the teacher that will become the guru in the seeker's eyes. Because it is always about you. And if you cannot see, if you cannot honor grace and sacredness, and honoring sacredness and grace, it's not when you use your intellect and you look and see everything it's in the right place, in the place that I imagine things to be. Okay, now I can surrender. That is not surrender. And its transformative power is nothing. Of course, they talk about the use of the intellect to understand, to follow the safe path. That is very nice, very sweet to listen, and seekers enjoy this very much. But that's not really the case. When things mature, when the process is maturing, when the seeker is being capable of aspiring, these tools are useless. Because if you're really looking for grace, for sacredness, for God, for the divine, that will be your aspiration and you will honor it. So if you want to really make sure that you find your guru, you have to become a seeker of truth. The best one. This should be your focus. Instead of analyzing this speech, that speech, the other speech, because you'll see nothing. You see, when your real guru appears, he will test you. It seems you're there testing everybody which appears. Oh, is this a guru? Is that a guru? Let us evaluate his speech, the way he speaks, if it's smiling or not smiling, how he is behaving, and all of that. With this mindset, you'll see nothing. And when your guru comes, he will test you. And he will behave opposed to that which you're expecting, to see if your inner eyes are open, if you're looking through your heart or through these two ones and with the intellect. And what will you be able to see if you're behaving, if you're trusting your intellect? Nothing. And you'll be convinced that you have seen it all. So the safest, whatever that means, the shortest path to your guru is to become the best seeker of truth possible. To be worthy of that blessing. Because if you look at the speech of a guru, what is he saying? And if you're neglecting, who is he saying it to? What's the point of that? Does the awakened one has just a language? Is he an expounder of philosophy? Sometimes it can be, if that is a need not for one but for all, or if that is just what he knows. But that's the Guru speaks in many ways, in different languages, with different intentions. But if you look at the words, and if you imagine that he will use the same words to everybody, well, then you're missing the point. The words are for the seekers, and each one has its own world. So they will need different words as long as they need words. So the Guru may say one thing to one seeker and the opposite to another. Or else he's not talking to anyone. He's just repeating philosophy. What is right for one, it is not right for the other one. The Guru knows this. So if you're evaluating speech without taking in account to who is that speech going to, well, so in generally speaking, he may say the same thing. He may, or may not, but he may. But when it comes to individuals, it changes a lot. So if you're looking for consistency, if you're looking for that type of discourse, well, then you're just blinded and trying to find your way into the dark. You see, grace is not something that it is shoved down your throat because you're a very special person. Grace is to be taken by the pures of heart. It is abundant, available, but only few can take it. So if you imagine that your Guru will come and will make marvelous speeches to you to convince you that he's a Guru, and he will do this and that as you expected him to do, well, you have been tripping a lot. So in human interactions, people behave in a way towards other people. And as they behave towards other people in certain ways, they expect others to behave likewise. Well, your Guru probably will not behave in that way. So whatever you try to establish yourself in the certainty by these intellectual means, you will not be able to do so. Teachers, yes, if it is a teacher, yes, more or less it works like that, but not a Guru. So if you're judging the words to see if the words are true, well, that means in a way that you must have been taking yourself into a very high account to be able to judge the words of the Guru. So who is the Guru after all? Is it the one who's being judged or the one who is judging? And what is a guru? Because I've seen this attitude that it's like, so the person represents the guru figure. So it has to help seekers just because they are asking, they are demanding. And if they have a problem, they have to solve it. But they are looking at it as a tool that they will use in their process, and then voila. It is quite funny, actually. It is quite funny. Because that is blindness to the extreme. So it doesn't matter what the world is saying. You need to correct yourself as much as possible. To understand through literature, for example, through the scriptures, what is a seeker of truth? What are the qualities that a seeker of truth has? What was the qualities that gurus looked into the disciples to accept them or not? And developing those qualities, developing humbleness, dedication, the capacity to work, to make sacrifices. This is the way. And trust completely into the divine. Because, well, if you're a seeker of truth, you're looking for truth, more or less. But there's other words for that. Divine. But there's better words, God. And they are better because they are worse in a sense. So is it a divine quest or isn't it? So the heart is the sacred chamber where everything which is worth happens in. Not here. Here. What is the difference? This analyzes according to the materials it has, the beliefs it upholds, what appears to be right or wrong according to that moment in time, with the level of awareness that you have. And if you're not enlightened, then you cannot take that into much of account, or else you're, well, so the seeker of truth works himself, meditates intensely, tries to cultivate these yam and niyams, those moral precepts, working himself to purity, and waiting here for the directions of everything which is important to him. This is brought into silence, a silence where the seeker can listen. Silence here so that this can speak. But this doesn't speak too often. It speaks when it has to speak. And if this is the most fundamental, important thing for you, you will wait and you will listen. And this will point the way. Not this, not through the senses. And then as direction, for example, the subject matter, the guru, when this points, then you trust it completely. Because the guru is not a tool that you use. It's not a means to an end. It's not the one you will understand. It's the one you surrender to. And it doesn't matter how many years passes and how much these words appear to be outdated. They are timeless words. They never pass. The circus passes, changes, transforms, but these are timeless truths. They don't change. And just because you don't see them, it doesn't mean they don't exist. It means they don't fit your reality. They don't fit your world. Blindness does. Because it doesn't matter how sophisticated things appear to be. Well, you still have the absence of enlightenment to tell you that things are not the way you think them to be. So for a seeker of truth, for the one who is curious, well, he can evaluate and judge anyone. No problem, because, well, but for the seeker of truth, it's not in his place to do that. That is countering his precious work, his spiritual work. Because for him to judge anyone, he has to be in a position to do it. And as you rise to that position, you are losing your position of humbleness. Is it God's will? Then you embrace it and surrender your level best. Because if it is needed, your guru will tell you that the sun is green, and then the next day will tell you that the sun is orange or black. He's taking you on a ride that will challenge you to leave everything behind. But usually, when you're looking for, through the concepts that you hold dear, from where does your right and wrong comes from? Doesn't it come from your beliefs of right and wrong? So if the guru can fit your world, then so for the seeker of truth, the one who is working diligently towards humbleness, purity, devotion, there's no such thing as many gurus. There is his guru. And when he's ready, it will appear. And it seems a very contradictory statement, because no one's really that ready. But if it is there, there's a chance. But if you haven't been working hard, you will not be able to catch up to, because you will need to continue to work hard. Thus, grace appears to be something which is piling up, available, and you choose the grace that you're willing for today. Oh, today I will choose this divine grace because it seems a little bit better for this sunshine which is appearing here. Tomorrow I will take that other grace which is better for this cloudy day. It doesn't work like that. And if you're wasting your time evaluating teachings and this and that and signs and all of these things, well, Time is yours, but it is a complete waste. You should be focusing in silence, in devotion, in surrender, in waiting for the pointing to come from within, and preparing yourself to be able to follow it, to honor it, to surrender to it. Because this, oh, who is the guru? Oh, that one is the guru. Okay, so now it's fine. No. So when you find the guru finds you. That is when things really begin, and intensely, and you better hurry up and work hard so that you don't miss your train. Because if that is the case, then it is serious, and it's for sure not about wasting time. And whatever you were used to think is right or wrong, that will be questioned from A to Z. And it is always about you. And eventually, the presence of the Guru will awaken your most deeper fears. And if you have not been with this mindset, you'll collapse, because if you're waiting for the Guru to come and transform everything with a touch of his butterfly hands, then, well, forget about it. Sacredness, holding sacredness, that is what gives the vision to embrace grace. Sacredness, devotion, purity of heart. So there may be not something, there may be not much to do in what you're experiencing, but in the way that you are experiencing, yes. And that is an attitude, the way that you are using your time. And as long as the heart doesn't speak, and remember, the heart is not there to protect you, it's there to remove you from your ignorance. And it was never a journey about safety. So if your heart is wanting the Guru, well, that means the Guru is also waiting for you. And the way that you can, whatever that means, is through continuous hard work, meditation, purification, and waiting and listening. And when the heart points, then you go to, no matter what. So gurus are not really a matter of concern. It is whether you are really a seeker of truth. Whether or not you are the best seeker of truth that you can be. If you're trusting or not the divine, or if your trust is conditional. In kindergarten, yes, these rules apply, but then as you move higher, they don't apply anymore. And the most detrimental aspect to a seeker of truth is to put himself in a place where he judges. So if you're in the presence of a supposed guru, you don't know, you will never know, unless you walk the path. But if your heart is not telling you anything, then just be respectful and leave, continue your path. Don't judge, because this is detrimental to you, to your vision, to your sacredness. And this is what you need to protect at all costs. The world is a very messed up, confused place, prone to all types of distractions. It is specialized in twisting sacredness. So this is what you need to become an expert at preserving sacredness. So there's nothing to evaluate if he is speaking the truth or if he's speaking lies or whatever. That's not up to you. That's not your concern. That's not what you're looking for. Silence and wait. Preserving sacredness. Working in your purification. And as the pointing comes, surrender into it. And the difficulty is, because there's this idea, the guru and God the same. They will put you on their lap and he will take you as you are and all of that. If he did that, what would be the purpose? Because the purpose is to remove the blindfold. So if this is your goal, then you're just looking for a bare version of your parents. And that's not a quest for truth. The guru will strip you out of your beliefs. And most of the times, that's not a pleasurable thing. It becomes much more smooth, much more rich when you have achieved a certain level of surrender. And that is the main purpose. It's not about right or wrong. It's about surrender. So remember, there's not many gurus and many truths out there. There's just your guru and the path which is laid out for you. Make yourself the better version of a seeker of truth that you can and work it every day. That will open your road to your Guru. And as doing that diligently, prepare yourself, because it is the beginning of a very intense ride. So these are the eyes, these are closed, this is open. This is how the seeker of truth looks at everything that surrounds him. Gurus, teachings, books, people, doesn't matter what it is. He learns to look through a different set of eyes, but not with the desire or the expectation that things will go smoothly. But with the understanding that things will go the way they need to go according to the level of his own blindness. And whatever comes into his way, it is God putting there so that he gets what he needs to continue. Sometimes it is sweet, sometimes it is bitter. It is what it is. But if it is for freedom's sake, it is always sweet. Okay, so that's it for today. Next satsang will be Saturday. 9 a.m. Brazilian time, UTC -3. Until then, well, if you want to reflect on these words and to observe where you're standing, well, if you don't, it's up to you. If you have any questions about this subject, whenever you're seeing this, well, you can send to the same number that appears on the comments, and I will answer it in the next satsang. Okay, watch.